Hey, what is up everyone? It's Rinku, and welcome to the February 21st patch notes. Now of course, something that was announced less than a week ago, the Arsha server is finally released in the game, in our NA and EU version. Something else that was announced is that Jin skills, the upgrade to main hand skills that allow them to do almost double damage if not more, and hit more targets, while still being the same main hand skill that you all love and know, is going to be released next week, and this is for a majority of your main hand skills, like almost all of them, if not all of them. So it's a huge difference. It's going to allow you to use your main hand a lot more, and it's going to push the changes that they've had in Korea for quite a while into our version all at once. Arsha server, then Jin skills, Braham skills are probably right around the corner, then we have the new class coming out, so it's all kind of falling into place, and it's really good to see. Now before we even talk about the Arsha servers, let's look at everything else that they added in these patch notes. Next up, it says the following items have been added to the Night Vendor: Zarka box, Nuver box, Kuden box, and Dandy box. Now it does say the class-specific boss weapons that were already being sold will appear at the same rate as before. In my mind, if you add new items to a drop table with items already there, it takes away the chance of getting the previous items. I'm not sure if they changed anything or if they have some special algorithm to make that untrue, but it does say that they will appear at the same rate as before. So I'm not sure how literal to take this, but it is interesting to see that they're trying their best to not take away the chance of previous items, which is the main concern of adding items in the first place. So also, there have already been screenshots of the Dandy box for 700 mil and the Kuden box for 600 mil, showing that these boxes are extremely expensive. In fact, I don't think I've seen anything in the Night Vendor shop that goes above 500 mil, so the fact that these items do is quite crazy already. So the reasoning behind this is not only because you can get whatever weapon you want for whatever class you want, but because you can save these boxes for classes that are not out yet. If I want to get a boss weapon for Lon that is not out yet for NA and EU, the only way I can get a Dandy box is by going to kill Kuranda herself, by getting some crazy event that drops a Dandy box for whatever reason, or now I can actually roll Night Vendor, because Night Vendor only drops specific things of classes that were already out. So it's kind of revolutionary, and it does have an extremely high price point, but there is a reason for it, and people with the money are going to be willing to spend money on this. This specifically for classes that are not out yet. Extremely easy, or even just people sitting on tons of money that just want their weapon now. And that's that. There is a few other things that we should probably look at on this page, and the first thing is that the Kibelius Armor Set A and Kibelius Armor Set B have both had their names changed. So if you didn't know, Kibelius Armor Set A is a set with gigantic white wings with a particle effect of feathers falling down. Kibelius Armor Set B is the set I'm currently wearing in the game. It's completely identical without the wings. Now, previously, it was called Set A and B, and Set A with the wings was very limited and was really rarely sold. Now, they have sold it a few times now, and they seem to keep bringing it back every so often, but it's still more limited than Set B, and now they have different names for it. So Set A with the wings is now called Kibelius Divinus, I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's its new name. And Kibelius Set B without the wings is just Kibelius with nothing. So there's no A and B, no weird like letter separation. But yeah, I just figured I'd put that clarification before people get really confused and yada yada. So the other change in this page is the depository button. It has been renamed to Setting Archive, and it has a new icon and has been added to the escape menu. When I first logged on after the update, when I pushed escape, I didn't really know what was added, but it was this. And the depository button, if you didn't know, was the option to save your UI settings, and like you have to upload it first when you like set it all up, and then you can go on any computer or any setup at all, download BDO if it's not already, you know, get into the game, and you can download your settings that you uploaded originally. So the depository, or now the setting archive, is a way to save your settings, which is extremely nice when it works. You have to say that because the first time I used it, it fucked up, but hopefully it works, and then you can download it wherever, whenever, and actually have all your stuff set up, because it's really frustrating when I go somewhere else and I try to show someone BDO. I'm like, oh wait, I can't use any of my abilities because nothing's there, and let me just take 30 minutes to set something up that I'll probably never play again on your computer. So yeah, it's very nice that this exists, and now it's in the escape menu, so very cool. The last thing I want to look at before talking about the Arsha servers is a known issue, and this is just because it's interesting to know about, and also because there might be other places in the future that they don't know about. So it's always good to know what's going on with this. Now, there are two places in Node Wars that are known issues that they know you can place on, but you're not supposed to. And this is the extraction mill area in Glish, next to the northwestern gateway in Serendia, and the rooftop area above the stable keeper, like what? In eastern gateway in Serendia. So one is only accessible to certain classes, and one is just not intended at all, obviously. Like the rooftop above a stable keeper, what the fuck? So basically they say do not build any forts here. We know that you can build there, but we will take it down ourselves, pretty much is what they're saying, if you do it now, because they're saying just don't do it. So yeah, any forts or annexes built will be removed, is what they officially say. And I'm assuming that means they haven't fixed it yet, but they'll fix it, and they'll also check to make sure no one's abusing it anymore, which is good. I don't know what's actually going to happen about this, but yeah, this is a known thing in the patch notes, so I had to make a section on it. Now, let's talk about what we're here to talk about. So, there are two minor problems with the Arsha server, in my opinion, and we'll just get over it really fast. The first one is that Valencia 6 has returned from a PvP exclusive to a normal server. Now, at first, I was really hyped. I was going to tell tons of people we should test the Valencia 6 server versus the Arsha server. It'd be really cool to PvP in each world and like have an equal experience in both the new settings and the old settings, because if you didn't know, the Arsha server has new PvP settings, which is what we're about to talk about. However, to my disappointment, the Valencia 6 server is no longer a PvP server, which means the only PvP server is the Arsha server. So we can still PvP in Battle Arena, etc., but if you want to have open world PvP with no karma at all, like no karma effects at all, the Arsha server with the new settings is the only one we can use, which is an interesting change. I don't know why they just didn't keep both. Having two channels instead of one wouldn't have been... I guess I just wouldn't understand why they would take away Valencia 6. Now, my other problem is in their opening statement. A new PvP experience is waiting for those who enjoy a good brawl between fellow adventurers. The game mechanics in Arsha are slightly modified, notably increased defense stats, and mechanics to enable fairer, less one-sided fights. Now, it's great that they want to change PvP to have fairer, less one-sided fights. However, the fact they say increased defense stats in a game where they haven't changed any balance at all makes any tank class with increased defense extremely unkillable. Now, there are just certain classes where it makes the less one-sided fight statement completely backwards, making certain matchups completely one-sided only in the Arsha server. Now, I'm not going to go into specifics, and the hope is that, and also the reason why I think they announced Jin skills literally next week is that Jin skills will hopefully be more balanced on Arsha servers as well. Now, Jin skill is going to change the game drastically, like insanely. It's going to be different. So this might be in preparation for that, and we might see its full effects next week. And it's interesting that we're only going to have 1 week without Jin skills to practice on the Arsha server before we suddenly have Jin skills, but that seems to be the way it is. Now, overall, I'm happy for the Arsha servers. I want a more balanced PvP experience. However, as many people see it, this might not be exactly what we want, but the fact that they're trying and that they've already had this in Korea, and we're having tournaments and stuff, and they're looking for a future where everything's balanced across all servers. It has a good intention, and I really hope it works out. So now, a PvP specific Arsha server has been added. So a PvP specific server is a server where karma still affects you in the way NPCs see you, where if you're negative they'll be hostile, if you're positive they won't. However, you will not lose any karma from PvPing, so you can flag and kill as many people as you want and your karma will stay the same. They have taken away the PvP specific rules from the Valencia 6 server and put it on the Arsha server. However, this new Arsha server has additional changes. Now, don't let this giant paragraph of changes fool you. There's only 4 main changes that we need to look at. The first one, all characters PvP DP will be raised. Now, this is good for some classes, but like I said originally, it may be overlooked for some other classes. Not gonna say any names, but I think we all know those broken classes. Next up, pressing shift while down will activate guard stance while still laying down and reduce the damage you take while you're laying down. So basically, yeah, you can guard while you're laying down, waiting to get back up. The gauge is minus 50%, but the damage reduction, the amount of damage you're taking from that, is plus 80. So overall, it is buffed, but the gauge is kinda, I don't know why they have to do it like that, but overall, it's more effective than when you're normally guarding, I think. The third change is characters will be immune from all debuffs for a certain amount of time if affected more than 3 times from bound, floating, stun, and grapple. So, get CC'd 3 times, you're immune to all CC for a certain amount of time. Okay, well, how much is a certain amount of time? They don't tell us, we don't know. Hopefully we will know in the future, or maybe it's already known somewhere. It's kind of interesting that they don't tell us that. Is there like literally a debuff on our character that tells us that we're immune? Or how does that work? Also, the fourth change is damage calculations are different from that of normal servers, and as a result, the buff damage against humans may be less effective. Now, is human damage the only thing affected, or I mean, it says damage calculations are different, so they could be different in many other regards. This is a huge line. I'm not sure the effect of it, but yeah, overall, those are the 4 main changes to the Arsha server. The rest is just talking about how the changes of the PvP specific server that Valencia 6 already had, which is basically, if you didn't know, I already said, kill as many people, no karma loss. So all that together is all bundled in the new Arsha server, and is the only PvP specific server we have accessible, and of course monsters still spawn there, so you can grind there just like you did in Valencia 6. So pretty crazy stuff. Some other additional stuff is, yes, you can practice with the Arsha rules in Battle Arena and even Red Battlefield. It says Red Battlefield is still accessible, and the rewards will be the same as other servers. So you can try out all these new changes in all the original PvP environments, like with the new servers. So it's all pretty awesome. Of course, you can never forget the cash shop, and they have re-added the little monster box. So I believe this is around for 2 weeks until March 7th. And yeah, basically you open a box, you get one of these random pets at a random tier and a seal. And if you collect 5 seals by basically buying 5 boxes, you can turn them in for, I think it's a tier 2 of whichever pet you want. I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you just want to spend tons of money on pets, but yeah, that's always an option. We also have the Arsha bundle, pretty cool to see an Arsha bundle in the Pro Shop, and we have the whole thing. So Karlstein, everything. I didn't realize like Karlstein had to do with Arsha, but I guess that's the thing. So we also have the Cabelius, Divinus, as they've renamed, for Mystic, as well as Karlstein, New Year Handbook, and also New Year Handbook for Striker, as well as a storage maid and transaction maid combo. So it's 2 maids for the price of 1. Pretty good deal if you're gonna buy a maid. So that's it. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time.